to be brave enough to start conversation that matters about the future of the Yoruba in or out of Nigeria. Let me go straight on to Alagbadele Ogun. Over to you.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, really. I speak on behalf of the Yoruba Foundation. In 1999, as far back as 1999, I saw Fulani-looking people in our forests, and I knew the trouble was afoot. It was because of that that we in the Yoruba Foundation took some action where we devised the strategy of the Yoruba National Day, 23rd of September, the day on which the Kiriji War ended, according to the history of the Yoruba by Samuel Johnson. And we organized the first Yoruba National Day events, not as a Jai Jai event, but as a vehicle to try and bring our people together with a view to responding, because if you're not organized, you cannot respond. I'm going to be direct because our people are dying as a consequence of the negligence that I have seen since 1999. Organizations on the ground, Afenifere was invited to that event. They didn't attend. The following year, a breakaway group organized Yoruba National Day. On a different day, Afenifere representatives, Beck Orag Sumkuti, and Dr. Frederick Fashion attended that event. I was there. They gave me a plaque to mark the fact that we initiated this strategy. But I did not sustain it. And more importantly, the idea was not taken home. We lost 20 years. And we have lost lives. So my question is this. In the face of this dire situation that we have been put in by the current political leadership, both the ones in the parliament, the traditional rulers, Yoruba Council of Elders, Afenifere, all the rest of them, why should we have confidence in their strategies for the way forward in the face of this negligence?
Thank you very much indeed. Papa, would it be a good idea for you to attempt to respond at this junction? Failure to act.
Thank you very much. As usual, I should thank Ridu for this opportunity to educate our people. And on each occasion, it is clear that our people are under very serious misconception. I also want to thank Reverend Tunde Roberts for the prayer and his opening remarks. I just want to correct a small statement for the records. Afenifere is not a social, it's not founded as a social cultural organization. It appears that Robert is mixing it up with AGBA or OODUA, which fortunately or by coincidence, many of the leaders of AGBA or OODUA also founded Action Group, but for different purposes. AGBA or OODUA is the social cultural organization of OODUA. As you rightly stated, it was founded in London in 1945 and was established in Nigeria in 1948 when the OODUA was lighted at Afenifere. That was what was used to bring all the Yorubas of irrespective of political organization together. That is the really social, cultural organization of the Yoruba. But when the Mafasi Constitution was to be brought into being after the regime of Lord Richards, the idea of dividing Nigeria into 3 parts came in under that constitution: Western region, Eastern region, and Northern region. And that constitution stated that each region will have its own legislature. From that time, it was purely built on a unitary form of government. But I know I had warned that after the amalgamation, which was not our own being, Nigeria is not a country. I would like my listeners to please follow this scenario, because they are mixing it up, because many of them came into the show midway. But maybe if they follow what I'm telling them, they now know where to connect and where to disconnect. The thing the Sharo was trying to do there was that, no, if you are still going to keep us together, you cannot rule a multinational, multilingual, multi-ethnic, multi-religious under a unity form of government. Please, gentlemen, that is the crux of the matter, because everything comes out of it. As a result of that, Shivalo has written a book in 1947, Path to Nigerian Freedom, warning the British government, if you still want to come together when you are leaving, you can't keep us together under a unitary form of government. But somehow, the colonialists thought they knew better. So when they brought the Mafasi Constitution, they brought us a unitary form of government, although they said it was federal. But the content was purely unitary. My listener will recollect that the Mafasi Constitution, which came into operation in 1951, the election in 1951 came into office in 1952, established the Eastern, Western, and Northern regional government. The leader of such government was known as the leader of government business. It was a quasi-federal unitary constitution. When that government, when that administration came into operation, the contradiction the Shaura had pointed out started to show itself. We came along, and then the action group, yes, that was I want to correct the Reverend Tunde Roberts. The action group was formed.
Papa sir,
Yes.
I need to interrupt, sir. I've had 9 messages saying that we are very happy with what happened during Awolowo time. We are asking the question, since Awolowo time, Papa, why has Afenifere not been doing his job? As another one just come through, sir. I do apologize.
It's not that's what I'm explaining. They get it wrong.
Yes, sir.
Get it wrong. Just wait.
Yes, sir.
We are not founding a new party.
Yes, sir.
You are complaining after they brought us together under a constitution that's not available, that caused this kind of speech. We didn't start as a different organization. I'm giving you the root. That's why you got it wrong. Could you please listen? So don't put the question that doesn't exist. You should listen to how the thing started.
Yes, sir.
You are are putting your question midway. So when that constitution started and they gave us the unity, somebody's interrupting. Could you shut up?
Who is this lady who keeps interrupting? Please log out. Please mute yourself, madam.
Erelu.
I'm trying to find.
Shade.
Please, I've already cited that. Please let me manage this myself. Dear lady, please, I would like to suggest perhaps you mute yourself or take a break and return. Over to you now. Thank you, sir.
So
Sorry, sir.
So the constitution, where we started, the action group, which is the political party founded by Awolowo to champion the new government of Nigeria with the under a specified program preaching federalism for the country. So get it clear, Action Group is not a Yoruba organization.
Okay.
It is not. Action Group is a political organization to fight for the freedom and independence of Nigeria with Yoruba interests paramount with other ethnic groups. And the only way we can go along with other ethnic groups is by the federal system. That is the fundamental thing we get clear. Action Group is not the OODUA. It is when the Action Group came into office. At the time we came into office, there was still the people like H.O. Davis and others who are members of the government who founded.
Please unmute yourself, sir. Daddy, please unmute yourself, sir.
Well, I don't like this interruption because I can't talk if there's this interruption.
Papa, please hold on, sir. Let me just look at whoever this lady is. Just Papa, please hold on, sir. I don't know who this lady is.
Papa, please hold on, sir. I don't know who this lady is.
Oh, I think somebody's got the microphone on.
Somebody's got the microphone on.
Adebanjo, can you?
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Papa. I do apologize. Can I please appeal to you? It's not right that you are unmuted when you are meant not to. It is unfair. It is disruptive. I'm so sorry, sir. Over to you, sir.
That's why I thank you for this program, because a lot of people are under this section. They say action groups for everybody. The Afenifere came into operation for action group when the action group was founded, and the Yorubas were asking, what is the meaning of action group? So the socialist program of the action group was interpreted to mean the goodness we have for ourselves, we also have for others. That is the manifesto of the action group of free education, free medical services, integrated rural development, and full employment. That is the position. That is the condition that we started the party, the program. That is the program under which we contested the election and won to the Western House of Assembly. At that time, members of OODUA, who are also forming part of other parties like Chief H.O. Davis formed the Nigerian People's Party. He was the president, and late Justice Thompson was the secretary. It's on record. So members of OODUA, they were also in the NCNC, like T.O.S. Benson and others. So people will get it clear, and unfortunately, people were not around at that time, mix this thing up.
Thank you,
That
sir.
is the position.
Thank you, sir.
Now, when we now came into office, and the whole of government won election in Western House and performed the way he did, majority of the Yoruba now say, well, what are we looking for? We're all in Afenifere. That's how it came about. One. So, by the time we now moved the self-government motion for independence by Tony Nauru on our own progressive program that, well, we are tired of colonial government. The colonial office didn't like the motion. McPherson was then governor general of the country, said the ministers of Action Group then, who were in his cabinet, must not take part in that motion. People, if you can recollect, at that time, the members of the cabinet, the federal, were formed from the majority party in each region. This is how the crisis came in. And this question of separation we are talking about. The majority party in the Western region send minister to the center. Majority party in the Southern region send minister to the center. Majority party in the Northern region send minister to the center. So when we move the motion, please listen, this point is very important because many of you are confused all this. We are separating, are we not separating? Why should we not so? This is the beginning. The northern people led by NPC were the first region to talk of secession. And listen, when we moved that motion, and the eastern region supported SCSC, the NPC opposed, and the motion was carried, was not supported by the NPC. When the legislature closed on that day, and members were trooping out, the crowd at Tafawa Balewa shouted to Saudana for not supporting the self-government motion. He was furious. Then he said, Araba, let's not go into history and check what I'm telling you, because when we are talking about separation, we tell people that, well, we have never talked of separation in Yoruba land. We have always worked for the unity of that country under agreed constitution.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Can I, Daddy, two questions, important question. Afenifere of today is accused of failure to act. Failure to act since gbogbo àwọn agitation tó ń dúkìrí, wọ́n ṣàlàyé wípé àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ẹ̀ bá wọn sọ kọ́kọ́, àwọn tí wọ́n ń sọ pé àwọn ò fẹ́ wà nínú ìlú yìí mọ́, ọrùn wọ àwọn Fúlàní fẹ́ pa wọ́n dànù, wọ́n ń ṣe réèpù, wọ́n ń ṣe wúruwúru. Now, ẹ̀sùn tí wọ́n fi kan Afẹ́nifẹ́re rèé, wọ́n fọ Afẹ́nifẹ́re kò dáhùn, kò ṣe nǹkan kan. Ìbéèrè tán bí nìyẹn, ṣé lóòótọ́ ni pé Afẹ́nifẹ́re gbogbo bó ṣe ń ké yẹn, Afẹ́nifẹ́re kò tiẹ̀ ta kùtù? Daddy, oh yes, sir. Going on, sir. I think you have not unmuted, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Hey. Afenifere failure, negligence, absolute negligence.
I get your point. You see,
yes, sir.
When I was developing the story, you say you are too anxious. But the question you are asking arose out of the confusion you are having.
Okay, sir.
So we have been fighting for what you are now talking of, when many of them were not born.
Okay, sir.
And this one we are fighting for. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Tell this one.
Prophet Fadipe Kazim, mute yourself.
Thank you very much indeed. I don't understand why people cannot follow simple rules. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Talking about again.
Sorry, ma'am. Please, if you can remove this man, please just remove it.
I'm going to remove him now. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Just a
Hello?
moment. Over to you now. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Please, I can't.
Emma Binusa.
What you take me 10 minutes, you have to make it to be 30 minutes. Without interruption.
Over to you, sir.
The point which I want them to get clear is that as a result of that constitution breaking down, when the ministers of the Western region were withdrawn, as a result of that taking part in self-government motion, which was not supported by the North, let them be listened properly. And that was what, and the shouting on Saudana of Sokoto led them to say the Northern region was going to secede because they didn't want the unity form of government they introduced. It was Chief Awolowo who convinced him that no, you don't have to go because of this situation. If we have a federal system of government, we can go on together. The autonomy you are talking of, your local government, education, it will be yours. So as a result of the constitution breaking down, as a result of that motion, Lord Chancellor, the then Secretary of State of the colonies, invited all the leaders of the parties at that time. This is what my listeners should listen to. The beginning of the crisis we are talking of, and what we are now fighting of, where it arose. When that constitution broke down, and Saudana said they want to break away, and the cabinet of the central government couldn't be formed as a result of withdrawal of the Western region, and my first said they should send another list, and I would not send the same list. Then there was a breakdown. Then the colonial office invited all of them to London. That was in 1954. That is where they now agree on the federal system of government. It was when coming back as a result of that conference, my listeners should go and change the history I'm taking. That they created premiership in the region. All the regions are now autonomous, and really federal constitution was established. And Shivauno became the premier, Saudana became the premier in the north, and the premiership in the east. And that was and all the questions that are now arising, please note, the question of revenue education was based then on derivation. It was one. There was state police, there was local government, everything federal was established. That was what we carried on until independence. And we are living together in peace. Now, that condition.
Hello? Hello?
Prophet Fadipe, are you a prophet of confusion?
Anybody who's not interested in this program, please log
Over
off.
to you.
Log off.
Over to you, sir.
Please,
Can I ask everybody to mute themselves again? Emma Binusa,
they are taking, they are stressing
sir,
me.
Papa, let me interrupt you there, sir. Papa, let me interrupt you, sir. Let's go to more questions for now. For now, sir, Emma Binusa. Now, let's go to Deli Ogun has done his own question.
My dear, Elenu, please. All the questions that are going to come will arise. All the questions that will arise as a result of not finding the cause of the problem. Why are we not there? It is because of the constitution we agreed to at independence that was changed in 1966. That is the problem of this constitution.
Okay,
that is why we're there now. Because of the autonomy of the autocracy that the northern region now assume as a result of the constitution we didn't make, which the military imposed. That is what we are suffering from. That is what's constitution. And then
Okay, sir.
that, when they want
Thank
to
you
go,
very much indeed, sir. Let me go straight on.
Okay, carry on.
Yes, sir.
Carry on. Go straight to
Papa, you have got earphones on, so sometimes you have delays. So I don't know whether you have finished or you are still there because of the
I can hear you.
On delay. Over to you, sir.
Yes, I can hear you. What I'm trying to tell you is that when they don't get this basic knowledge, they will be asking those questions. And if you don't get it clear, you'll be asking questions that will have been answered by the knowledge of the foundation. So we have been living together under an agreed term, which is federalism. After the attempt to break away by the North, that was brought back as a result of the constitution that made them federal, we were carrying on until 1966 when the military took over. And they forced a constitution that reversed. Please listen. This is what the agitators of self-government are doing. They reversed all the things we rectified in 1954, the conditions that we are going to live together in peace. There was equality and everything. The military reversed it against the South in favor of the North. And for an example, my listeners, you listen. It was the military that created the local government we have now, or arbitrarily. They created more local government in the North under this constitution. That was not the position at independent constitution. They created more states for the North more than this under this constitution. That was not the constitution we agreed with. Because when we were now saying, no, if you don't understand what is structuring, go back to independent constitution. The thing that we are suffering as a result of this awkward constitution is what is making our youth say we are not going to stay in Nigeria if you are not going to go back to the constitution we agreed with. So that's why I tell all the questions that go, no, there was no question.
I think we're going to have to wait because your network isn't very good, sir. Please remind us, Papa.
When I say you people are not educated, you won't allow us to educate you. And you will be asking questions that is almost uncalled for if you know the background. Imagine somebody telling me the history about 1999 Constitution. Has he ever heard of Dadeco? Has he ever heard of Afenifere objecting to contesting election on that? Just ignorance. All these things you are talking of was the achievement of the action group in government. And that is the government we're asking them to return us to be able to do it. Action group is the party that did all these things, and I continue to explain to you, don't separate action group from Afenifere. Afenifere is the catchment area given to the action group. And there are programs spread all over the country. But that is where we have the opportunity to perform. Our free education is not limited to the Western region. Our free ed is not limited to the Western region. Our free ed is not limited to the Western region. And all the things you're asking of whether our security are all embedded in the context of federalism. We have control of our police. We have control of all the security performance. That is what is absent under this constitution imposed on us. And they want to listen to the background. It is because this constitution has removed all those powers. That's what we are doing. It's a program of the party government that executes all these things you are talking about. And somebody was asking me, what do we do about anything? He's asking me about what we fought for. It's just shows that pure ignorance. All these things we are talking of are the things that we fought in 1953. And we got it under a federal system. The free education you are talking about was easily implementable after the London Constitutional Conference. For the people who don't know, when we promised free education, there was no free textbook. But after the London Constitutional Conference, and we fought for revenue education on the basis of derivation, we had more money, and we said that there's going to be free exercise book. All the things that the youth and them are talking about, you can only do that when you are in government. And the government we had there did all these things you are talking of. Not that Afenifere was doing at that time, not at that time. And that is what we are fighting for. Return that government to us to be able to perform all that things we have been doing. And for those people who are confused in 1999, go and ask Abubakar. We didn't want to take part in that that election. It was Abubakar who said he's not prepared to wait for the for sovereign national conference, because we are insisting that if the military was going back to the barracks, they should send us back to the constitution with the methods. That is the beginning of the structuring we are talking about. At that time, we are talking of sovereign national conference. Why? We don't want violence. We don't want to fight. If you are not going to turn on to the constitutional methods, call a conference for us, which you are asking for now. For us to agree on the constitution, we are going to live upon. Many of you have forgotten that the contention now that is causing the problem is that we are saying this constitution is not our constitution. And to be able to go back to the constitution, you want to restructure this country back to federalism. So people want to confuse you, you abolish that constitution. And when you don't restructure the country back to federalism, you can't achieve all that you are talking of. All the parts that were concentrated in the center were devolved. So you don't want to be going to that constitution under this program. So you are, a lot of the question just based on ignorance. One thing brings back to the other. Somebody is talking of cocoa as another. Those are achievements. I am a living book. Whoever has that question, read about it. It is a thing I was present, I was campaigning for. It's one of the achievements before Yoruba led Western region to contest the federal election in 1959. These are all the things we want to do, but you can't do it unless you are in power. And people are asking us why you not be able to do it. Is it not the people we put in office under the process of getting us back that didn't perform? That was the basis on which Bola Tinubu, Shoba, and all that. That was how they came into office in 1999. And for you people who don't know, go and check the assets of that time. After they won the election, those who are asking, what did we do? What do I have them to do that way? Since they are not going to do this conference to return us back to federalism, when we have won the election and got the mandate of the people, don't go to Abuja, force the constitutional problem. Our representative didn't do. And all those who are asking this question, they don't know what led to what. If they have done the way we did in Western region in 1953, we'll be where we are. And for your information, those who say today now, we are not doing it. When we won the election in 1979, the Alliance for Democracy of that time returned free education. My own daughter was a beneficiary after winning the admission to the University of Lagos. I got a refund under the program of Alliance for Democracy. All these young men were asking this question. You are either not born at that time or they were babies. It is the absence of a constitutional government, the absence of federal government that gives powers to the region that is causing all this problem. That is why I say this concept must change. One, now they're telling me how you're going to achieve the structuring. That just shows ignorance. I don't want violence. We don't want war. Those who are saying we want to go, can you go without fighting the federal government? Are you prepared for war? We said no. We can do it by civil disobedience, by other means. We don't want this constitution that has enslaved us. It is this constitution that's giving rise to all the complaining you are giving us. That is what we are fighting on now that we don't want. Now, for us to have it peacefully, we structure the country. Now they're acting like, sure they're not going to give it up easily. The division came up by force. And they know why they changed the constitution. It is for us now to resist. And I said, those who are, please listen. And I said, well, we don't want secession. We want to go back to the constitution to bring us together. But if you don't do that, we are not going to stay in Nigeria under this constitution. Why can't you draw your conclusion? Why can't you draw? What do you say? I'm not going to preach violence on this place. This is the thing you are giving us. No. All the things, the question you have asked, and the man was saying, what's happening with this, is based on the fact that you must have political power first. That political power will not be given to you until you structure the country back to federalism. The structuring is not the way out. It is the system to give us back to federalism that will give us an autonomy to rule according to our ability. It is structuring the bring back to Nigeria back to federalism, and you take care of the ethnicity, religion, and everything. You develop at your own space. That's the basic thing you must get first.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, Professor Salako, and as a lead commentator, the key question I would like you to focus upon from a legality point of view, an assessment of the situation we are faced with, especially those of us who are outside, the position of the Federal Republic of Nigeria vis-a-vis this self-determination, restructuring, and all that goes with it. Over to you, please. Have you unmuted yourself? Who is not muted? You may not have unmuted yourself. Hello?
Yes. Is that okay?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. In fact, Chief Falashe presented it to me. I'm Professor Solomon Salako. I'm a professor of law at Liverpool University. And I'm a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria for 42 years standing. In fact, Chief Beleyi presented this summary to me, Chief Falashe presented to me on a platter of gold. His analysis is rather simplistic. He said the elders are for restructuring, the youths for Yoruba Republic. I'm an elder myself, and I'm averse to restructuring and any other such suggestions. Now, we don't need a commission to study anything. I've studied it for 42 years. Why federalism failed in Nigeria. So restructuring or federalism will not work. Going back to any version of federalism, whether it's of the 54 variety, 63 variety, will not work. Now, let me pose a question. Why is it, if federalism is working, why is it that we're almost 29 years after independence, we've had military regimes for 29 years, 1966 to 1979, 1984 to 1998. Nigeria is a British construct, and the 1999 Constitution is a fraud. Let me be blunt. It's a fraud. It's not a constitution. We the people, who are the people? What you find there in the preamble are states, 36 states, not the people. They didn't state who the people were. And again, what occurred to me in the course of these questions and answers is that is the pertinent question. Are the Afeniferes averse to Yoruba Republic? Some said that well, they've not received an answer. Yes, you've received an answer. Regrettably, the answer seems to be in the affirmative. Yes, the Afeniferes are averse to Yoruba Republic. At 75 years old, I can say that. I'm an elder myself. Again, Yoruba Republic could be achieved by exercising our rights, our internal right to self-determination without a war. There are precedents. Bangladesh, after the cessation of hostilities in Nigeria, 67 to 70, in 1971. Czechoslovakia in 1993. In fact, such exercise of self-determination was supervised by the United Nations. In case of South Sudan, they voted at that referendum by 92%. And South Sudan became the 193rd state of the United Nations and the 55th state of African Union. Now, last point that I want to make. Can we coexist as a Yoruba Republic in view of the different religions, Christianity, Islam, and the traditional religions? Yes, we can do that in a secular state where the state has no religion. Religion is personal to the individual. That is my brief observation. Elelu.
Thank you very much. There's one particular question that I would like to, given your own extensive experiences too. It seems as if the expectations of Afenifere is an organization. The huge expectations that have been presented, I use the word huge. All the expectations of Afenifere, which Papa Adebanjo seemed to be saying, and he did say that Action Group achieved all of that. We know that is in the past. Now, in your experience, I want you to forget it's Afenifere, an organization of 70 years old with a track record of Afenifere. How do you consider it should organize itself in order to bridge the two gaps you have presented? Elders want this, youth want this. In your experience, how can this be done?
I think first and foremost, the Afeniferes must be attuned. The key word is attuned to the wishes of the Yoruba people. If they are attuned to the wishes of the Yoruba people, they will know how we want to proceed. We don't want to proceed by restructuring. We've done the research on constitutional history. We've seen that federalism will not work in a multi-ethnic society where it will be winner takes all. And that is what we have been having since 1960. In fact, the problem started in 1958 at the Constitutional Conference, 1958. I don't want to go into that. In fact, I've written a paper which I can share with Adebanjo.
Over to you, Papa Agbayin Adalesa.
Thank you, Erelu. I want to begin by saying you have to reorganize this program. You have been very, very unfair to Afenifere.
Okay, sir.
Why? In an attempt to satisfy all your people to question, you deprive us of giving the explanation to you. You don't give us as much time that is required to allay the affairs and to reply to their accusation, many of them unintelligent, many of them uninformed, many of them out of ignorance. By the time you rush all these questions together, then you don't allow to pick them up one by one, including those of the professors who are repeating what we have done in the past because they don't know. How can anybody in Nigeria say we willingly joined 1999 Constitution? Why didn't we oppose it? If anybody is in Nigeria, if not because you're in the diaspora, you don't know what is happening. Please, when next you want me to come, let us treat any question thoroughly. If you can give any 5 minutes question, it will be better. By the time you allow to do, I saw many of them who are honestly asking questions. Then I want to assure the lady said, I am alone. No. What you don't know is that what is paying you is paying us. Àwọn bàbá wa ní tọmọdé bá gbé gidigbo, àgbàlagbà ọmọ tó bá gbé wó sí. Ìyẹn ló ṣe gbogbo yín. You are saying the same thing. How can anybody in Nigeria, Yoruba land, telling us that when they are kidnapping and they have didn't do anything? Where are they when they killed the daughter of our leader? But for us, they have done anything? That case is most unfair, most out of ignorance. But you see abroad there, you are just saying, well, they don't do anything what they're there for. I don't question them, but organize this thing to make us give the explanation that is necessary. Don't rush. If you can't give more than 5 questions at a time, let us be sure that everybody got his answer. I can't be boiled down. For instance, the professor was talking a lot of things. I see he's talking about things that I was present about. Say that he's 75 years old, he can do this and do that. How did he know what happened about the Constitution? How did it come about? And I want to tell these agitators for self-determination. You may not know. We are all one on the question that we must stay alone. But you buy me till I worry, that's what and those of you who are now saying, what are you doing about anything? Whatever we are doing, if restructuring doesn't come to, it's not for me to discuss with you on the air. That's all that I will give you. But a lot of things you are saying is unfortunate. They are not correct, they are untrue. Many of them are historical, I don't know. Some of them coming out from professors. That's why I'm annoyed with you should have allowed us to answer them at that time and give them details. Because they are professors, people seem to agree that, oh, they are talking something. Many of them are talking something that they don't know. You are telling me how law is around. You do what I'm saying? I am doing exactly what our law will do. And I bet my life for it. What do you know about him? You see, the thing is that the way we are trying to do things, but that lady, something who was saying, Papa, no. I am not annoyed at all. I'm only annoyed that I'm not giving the time to explain the thing to you as it is. You are talking about what is structuring you. If the so-called professor understand what is structuring back to federalism, will it still be agreed that they want to agree about security? Under this constitution, the governors have no power under the police. They are the chief security officer of the state without the power to take care of the police. And all these Fulani people are arresting the place. Is it not because the people who arrest them are the people who are protecting them? And if you have the power to control our police and we not answer that question? That's why I say some of the professors and so-called educated people don't understand what even the structuring is. And one of the, professor or something said, structuring self-government may be partly controlled by autonomy. The moment you have regional autonomy, if you understand what it is, which we have done in the Western region, very little way you are going to have if you succeed. If federalism is done the way it is done in America, you don't. If I challenge Professor Salako, If you have the federalism that we have in America, where the police, the law in California does not operate in New York. The lawyer in California, if he does not pass, cannot pass there, and they're all in the same country. These are the things we have when we talk of autonomy in the region. But that's why I say you give us time to explain to ourselves, because a lot of things they are talking about is contained. By the time we achieve our autonomy, and one of them says federalism doesn't mean anything. Well, I don't know where he studies no federalism. And when you are talking about Bangladesh was off and all that, was it not after India has got its own independence that those are the things that they don't want to come out? We are now under the Fulani domination. We want to get out. And so some people are saying if you go to Shoshone and the Ekiti and the Yorubas. Did that question arise when Aula was looking in Western region? They have forgotten because what we are doing now is just going back to what Aula did. With all the achievements we are now talking about Aula, was it not under a federal constitution that fought for? Are you just telling us that this is not our constitution? And somebody say this is a fraudulent constitution. If you have been following anything in Nigeria at all, they will tell us that the biggest champion of opposition to this constitution is Adebanjo, which I say this constitution is a fraudulent constitution. We don't make it. And we are not federal. That is not news to those of us who are in Nigeria. So the man talking abroad saying, telling us doesn't mean anything. They are not telling us anything new. It's the main thing that I am championing in this country. To the extent that even the revolution, they are now asking the people to bring memo before the assembly. I have condemned it. It's in my statement last time. That how can the product of fraud be rectify fraud? If you have been following what is in Nigeria, we know, you talk like that. Imagine after fighting all that, now accusing me that I don't say anything. This constitution is a fraud. Are you telling me that? I am a part of the making of the Constitution. And I know nobody is the champion of criticizing this Constitution more than Afenifere. And you go and ask Absalom. Somebody was there and saying, we are here advised now not to take part. What do you know was going on between us and Nauru? What do you know why we contested that election? If anybody has contested that election and got the mandate and said that we have got the mandate of people to speak to them, what do you say? All that is came into operation at the time. And if you ask Absalom, we didn't want to take part in the election until Sovereign National Conference was held to decide whether we are going to live together or not. These are matters of history. And after people fought all that, now come and tell us what is Afenifere doing? What did you do? What is the point of it? That was absolute ignorance. So let the people who are anxious about self-determination be assured we are fighting the same cause, the same method of approach. Nobody can say we parley with the outside. What for? All the security you are talking about, that no, they killed us, they did that. How did the Fulani come in? How they come in? And when they came in and we are saying they are Fulani men, and Buhari said they are not local Fulani, they are from abroad. And we ask him, how did they enter the country? You are the chief security officer of the state. These are all the parties exercising under this constitution. That is why the constitution must be abrogated. That's why we say, don't want the constitution. You don't accept yourself on that. You are now picking those about what is not material. Those who we are fighting, you know what we are fighting for. And that is why they don't do restructure. If they don't want to restructure, we say, well, if you don't restructure, we are not going to see under this constitution. And you are Yoruba man, what does that mean to you? Asking me to spell it out. Do you want the self-establishment, or do you want to stay there? You want to, if you cannot get the answer from that, then I wouldn't say you are as intelligent than I expect. Or you be a Yoruba man. I say I don't support, but I don't oppose. I don't want secession, but I won't say the Nigeria under this constitution. You can't draw your references at all. And you are professors and intelligent people. So whatever, when they ask me now, if they don't give us instruction, what are you going to do? So, you see how the people want us to tell us what will be our reaction to the enemy before they do? When we are telling them we are not going to stay under this constitution unless you do this, and you don't do it, then you might not go to man somewhere. No, so if they don't know all that, the man who says 75, he can't say he's older than me. He was only 7 years old when I was fighting for the independence of this country. That's Sanako, who is claiming to be his old man with the wool there. There is nothing saying about this country and the constitution that I don't know, that I don't participate in. All areas have been considered. And then if struggle, then if fight, you have to put your head together. The people have all the architecture of security in them now. All the security officers, all everything with them. They know that. And they have sent full announcement to every village in the country with AK-47. And they are pushing it to war. You haven't got the common sense to put them down. They know you are surrounded. You are abroad, you are in Canada, you are in America, you don't know what is happening here. But then we are mouth down, you know, so no, you want self-examination. And you just say, okay, bam, bam, bam. So, Elenu, I beg you, those of them who see fit, Baba don't do well, I agree. Please give us time to deal with that question. You are rushing them. In an attempt to say, let us have questions from them that we can deal with and thoroughly find out. Because many of them innocently are being furious. They are thinking, oh, they don't know where. We are fighting for the same thing. The method may be the same. Are you telling me that since 1950, we have been telling the British people, and somebody was saying the northern region has more population. Who told him? He doesn't know that we have been fighting against that. Does he know that Adebanjo has told us they haven't got the population? And that's the basis of sharing revenue allocation under this constitution which they make. These are part of the thing we are criticizing. We don't know. Please, do credit us of intelligence. And we are abroad, and one young man, they said, yeah, the young man, anyway, for me, give us another time. Let me deal with them one by one. I'm not running away from any answer. Not at all. Already you have the man who have deprived me.
That is mo láwọn question tí mo kọ sá tí mo fẹ́ bí sá ní kọ̀ọ̀kan.
Can you be nice? Okay. No. I've never deprived of the time.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sá, ṣẹ́rí, ó dàbí ń pàwọ́ ọ̀dọ́ àti ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà. Ẹ jẹ́ kí mo ka àwọn question yẹn lẹ̀ sá o, láwọn kan tí mo fẹ́ béèrè sá, nítorí pé ìjókòó tí a wà lónìí, ìjókòó pé Afẹ́nifẹ́re tí bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ filẹ̀ fún wa ń sìn, gbogbo ìṣòro tó wà níwájú wa ń sìn, ṣé wọ́n lè bá wa yanjú ẹ̀? Ìbéèrè kan tí wọ́n fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi sá ni wípé ẹ̀hún ni sá jẹ́ kí n kà lóyìnbó. Regardless of restructuring or self-determination, what is Afenifere going to do about the Fulani killings, or what has Afenifere done about Fulani killings?
Who ask questions out of ignorance? If they know what the implication of restructuring is, state police, regional autonomy, your local government, your own, everything your own. The power that you are having this problem because the federal government are the people aiding the Fulani coming in. On restructure Nigeria, you have authority to take the area. That is why we are asking him to give our governor state police. They won't be able to come. They give them a Moteku, they say, but they can't carry arms. It's because of the power of the constitution that is exercising. And Malami is supposed to be a lawyer, just open his mouth. Because the constitution, which is imposed on us, which one of them said that we didn't make it, we agree with. That's why we say we must abrogate this constitution first and send us back to the constitution we had before. That's why I tell you a lot of the complaint they have is involved in the agitation we are making. That's why I say when they are ignorant about it and they are uneducated about what they are talking about, many of them don't understand what is structuring. They don't know the implication. And when it's of federalism back to independence, do they know what are the powers under that constitution? That means that are also autonomous. That the scholarship we are having at that time, we didn't go to the colonial office. Under that constitution, we had a power to open an office in London.
Yes,
that was the time we opened the Western Nigeria office. That is where I got married in 1960. We were the first to open it there at 15-acre City Palace Garden. H.R. Odudu was the first agent general. We are autonomous of many things. And many of the development, the man was talking of Mirinda and all that. It was Western Nigeria Production Board that established that under the autonomy we are enjoying of our resources of generating power now. It was the owner who brought in Pepsi Cola and Marina. So that we can give them that way I see now. All the people succeeded them, they didn't follow. They didn't say all that. What's the very doing? What have you done? And I said, they left on the Becano. And the other man said, what have I done after you told us that when I said Oshoba, that I should have called them. You go and ask him. Even up to yesterday, I called Akode for the meeting they are holding today. And I want to see you. The man is doing this, just what have you done about it? And the way the southern governors have passed that as a solution, how do they know it has come about? From all parties. You don't know what you are doing inside here. Your husband are very you are going. Can you go like that? You'll be mowed down. And we are not going to support you because you are abroad. You don't know what's happening here. You are in America, you are in Finland, you are in Canada. You are just sending in grammar at home. Your grammar can protect us. When we are here, we are facing the contest. So, I can assure those who want us to get rid of this thing, we are with them. But what I am saying is, if they agree on restructuring, I don't believe we need it. There's none you are going to have under self-determination that won't get under a regional autonomy, under a truly, mind my word, under a truly federal constitution. Your generation of your revenue, the control of your security, the control of revenue, your control of the police, control of all that. When I now did the free education in Western region, did you go to Balewa for subsidy? That's the type of constitution we're asking for. Revenue allocation and derivation. The derivation we're having now that is making the region to go and beg for money in Abuja is made on us by the military. That is what the people are talking. They don't know. That is the what is involved in removing this constitution. So when you are talking about this, it is all this we part together, get rid of this constitution. By the time you get rid of this constitution, then we are in control of our own men. The power that the federal government will be using will be limited to foreign affairs, banking, and all that. All other things pertaining to security, education, health, agriculture will be within us. And if we don't have a federation, we enjoy the autonomy of our region, and we enjoy the economy of scale of being a big country.